Hey guys, D.Coward, and today I want to talk to you about priorities and making sure that you maintain the right priorities, determining what are the right priorities in your life. Well, in order to determine what those right priorities are in your life, it all comes back to you. I always say that everything that we talk about with counseling is about you. How does this affect you? When you think about the priorities in your life, you want to look at what are those things that make you happy? What are those things that make you feel fulfilled? What are those things that give you joy and give you peace? And when you wake up in the morning, that this is what you want to do and you want to be and who you are. When you think about maintaining the right priorities at the right time in your life, years ago, the Lord woke me up early in the morning, and it was every morning I noticed that, the sun would come up and the sun would come up and the sun would come up. And I really wasn't too much paying attention to that. And one morning the Lord woke me up and I said, I want you to just get up and head to work early this morning. So I got up heading to work early that morning, and what I recognized was that the sun was coming up earlier than it normally did. And so I looked at it and I heard the Lord speak to me and say that the seasons are changing in your life. And what he was saying was that it was a new season, that I needed to be aware of the different changes and the different seasons that are occurring in my life so that I could make sure that my priorities were in the right place during that time. Oftentimes we're functioning in a previous season, or a season that we're not even in right then. And it's really important to be able to look at your life, look where you are, and say, what season am I in my life? And how do I make sure that I maintain the correct priorities in this season? How do I make sure that all the things that I need to take care of during this time in my life are taken care of? The people that I'm responsible for right now are taken care of. You hear these stories about people saying they want to be a missionary and travel overseas or something like that. But you're a mother with small children. It's not the season for you to be traveling overseas to be a missionary. You're a mom right now. Your priority is to make sure they have their basic foundations taken care of. So you have to just make sure that you are in the right season for your life. If you're a young person between the ages of 18 to 25, that you are in the season of preparing for your future. Everything that you should be doing at this time should be about preparing for your future. You should be looking at how you are going to gather yourself to make a living for your life. If you are in the age of between 30 to about 45 to 60 years old, that's you're in your grind mode. That's the age of, you are in your youth where you should just be running and taking care of business and getting as much as you possibly can get done, so that when you get to be at a place where you cannot physically do those things anymore, you have made sure that you've taken care of a lot of stuff. You've done everything that you need to do. So when you think about making the right choices for the priorities you are in your life, what age are you at right now? Who are you responsible for taking care of? Are you responsible just for you? Like my mom says, when you eat, your whole family has eaten, or are you responsible for a group of people? If you're responsible for a group of people, then your priorities are to take care of these people that have been assigned to your hand. And trust and believe me when I tell you that I have seen people who have missed the mark and did not know what season they were in. And so they didn't take care of what they were responsible for or who they were responsible for in their youth. And now we're talking 30 years later, and that group doesn't have any loyalty to them because they didn't take care of them when it was time to take care of them. And now they're old and they need somebody to take care of them. And it's the most challenging thing to get that person to understand, okay, now it's your turn to see about this person because they're older. And yes, I know they didn't do this for you. They didn't do that and they didn't do this. But guess what? It's your turn. So they do sort of have to go on your priority list for you to see about, because you're going to be held accountable like they were held accountable. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But just making sure that you're in the correct season and that you're maintaining the correct priority list. Now, how do you go about prioritizing? It's pretty simple. what makes you happy? I always go back to this. Counseling is always about you. It is always, and I don't mean to sound selfish when I say it's always about you, but it is about you. It is about, what offends you, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. Because if you're happy, then you can be a better person for everybody else. What makes you fulfilled? If you're fulfilled, guess what? Then you can help other people. When you are taken care of, even in an airplane, they will say, if the airplane goes down, they'll tell the moms, they say, hey, mothers or parents, make sure that you breathe yourself first. Breathe yourself first, and then you breathe the other people. You take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of the other people. Make sure that when you think about prioritizing, have you done your due diligence to take care of you first? Have you fed yourself, bathed yourself, clothed yourself? Did you take care of the things that you are personally responsible for that's on your name first? And then you can take care of others. Now, when it comes to children, they're on your name, so they come first. The children come first. But even when it comes to taking care of the children, guys, you still need to get up first and feed yourself first in the morning. You still need to get up and make your bed, comb your hair, do the things that take care of you first, and then you can go and give to your children. So that does mean you got to get up earlier to take care of yourself, but then you take care of the other people that you're responsible for. Also, when you're thinking about your priorities and what is important for you, priorities for today may not be priorities for a year from now. Your priorities will change because every 5 years you will change as a person, just basically by the spirit of learning. You learn different stuff, you know different things, so now you become a different person because of who you are today is not the same person that you were yesterday. So those priorities do change, and they should change. And that's how you know that you're growing. That's how you know that you're changing and developing as a person. The last thing on priorities is making sure that your priorities align up with your values. What are your personal values? What are the things that you value the most? Do you value family? Do you value work ethic? Do you value education? What are those things that you value? And that's going to help you to align your priorities up. If you align your priorities along with your values, then it's never a problem with getting it done. So you want to make sure that your value system and your priorities are lined up together. If family is, for me, it's God, family, and education. Those are my priorities that, I keep God first. My family and education is really important to me. So when I do different things, I'm able to easily line up my priorities, and your priorities help to keep you focused on what you're doing and why you're doing with that, because a lot of times people will come to you and bring you all kinds of bones, all kinds of things. Well, why don't you try this, and why don't you try that, and why don't you try this? I sing, and so I've had people to come up to me and say, "Oh, you should think about singing." That's not really a priority of mine. So I don't want to be a singer. I want to be an educator. I want to do this. This is a priority. God, family, and education has always been a priority for me. So my energy always goes in those directions where I can be in a position where I'm educating, where I can talk about God, and then, my family is able to benefit, or, I'm able to keep, very involved in my family, because those have been the core values for who I am. And so they always align themselves up with my priorities. And then my priorities don't feel like a burden for me. It always keeps me focused. It always keeps me knowing which direction that I need to flow in and go in. When I'm making decisions, they line up with my priorities, i.e. my value system. So priorities are really important for you to align them. Stop every 90 days or so. And I talk about this 12-week thing. Stop every 90 days or so and look at your priorities. Look and see, how do you identify priorities? Look at your bank account. Where are you spending your money at? Look at your time. Where have you been spending your time at? That's going to identify your priorities right there. So when you look at your bank account, you look at your time. That's where your priorities are at. And then you're able to realign yourself. If you're saying that my priorities are God, family, and education, now those are mine. Okay, how much time am I spending, with God, family, and education? How much money am I spending, God, family, and education? How much effort am I putting in building relationships in these, and building bridges in these areas, or building educational arenas in these areas? That's how you know that you are on target for your priorities. And then I also talked about the seasons being really, really important. The seasons are important. You need to know what season you're in your life. What season is this for you? Stop for a moment and just sort of say, okay, where am I? What's going on in my life? What am I trying to do? Where do I want to be 5 years from now? Where do I see myself? And are the things that I'm doing helping me to get there? Is it aligning themselves? When I look back over my life, will I be able to say, I was able to do all those things in my life that I really wanted to do? I was able to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. I was able to find the love that I needed to find. I was able to be educated in the places I needed to be educated in. I was able to help some other people. And when I looked at myself, I was fully fulfilled in my own life. My life was good for me. If I had to leave from here today, would I be able to say that I've lived a good life? Or will my soul cry out from the grave and say, just give me one more day, just one more chance? When I leave from here, I want to be able to say, I gave everything I could give to this world. I gave it up. I gave up everything. When I walk away from here, you want to have your priorities in such a place that everything is so aligned that if you leave out of here tomorrow, you can say, God can say to you, well done, my good and faithful servant. And you can say to yourself, I gave it all. I gave it all. My priorities were right. My life was aligned the way that I needed to be. And let me talk about that piece too. If your priorities are not where they need to be, I always talk about this, just when you fall off the wagon, get back on. As soon as you recognize that you're not where you need to be, you're not doing what you need to do, that is the time and the moment right there to fix it. Change it right there. Don't wait till tomorrow to fix it. Don't plan for January to fix it. Right there, fix it. If you're on the weight loss thing and you doing really good with running and losing weight, and all of a sudden you start eating McDonald's and ice cream and candy, the moment that you recognize that you started doing that and you want to get back on the weight loss thing. The moment that you realize that your priorities are wrong, you haven't spent time with your family, you're mismanaging your money, you are not educating yourself the way that you want, whatever your priorities are, get back on the wagon immediately. Don't wait till tomorrow. Every day, reset the button. Every day, get up and reset yourself to get back to where you need to be. So that is my talk on priorities today. I hope this has helped you to retool your life. If you like the video, like it down below. Please subscribe and pass it on. Have a great day.